Hello! For today's work together project, I thought that we would not do something mini album related, but I thought that we would make one of these. What this is it's a cell phone holder, a cell phone stand essentially, and it holds your cell phone, and it actually works quite well, I think. I watch videos on my cell phone a lot using this stand. And it's really simple to make. This one I made out of cardboard. You can tell it's corrugated and it folded a little bit easier. The one that we're going to make now, we're going to make out of chipboard because I don't have any cardboard. But if you have cardboard, it might work a little bit easier for you. So, all you need to make this project is some glue, some chipboard, some pattern paper, possibly some paint, and then maybe some embellishments if you want to embellish it, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. What you need is your chipboard, and mine is already cut down to size, and I'll tell you what size it is. It is 9.5 inches by 4 inches. Okay? What you're going to do then, once you have your chipboard to size, you're going to put it into your cutter. Now this is the easiest way. If you can score cardboard, then or chipboard, then go ahead and score it. What we're doing here is essentially trying to make it work with us so that we can score it easier. All I'm doing is I'm just taking my cutting tool and I'm very lightly slicing the top part of it. I put it in here at 4 inches and made my first score mark, okay? Then I move my score mark over to the 2.5 inch mark, and I do the same thing. I just very lightly run my cutter along the top of it. So all it does is it just puts a little cut mark in it. It does not cut all the way through. You can see it's still connected, but essentially it will help it to fold easier. So then what you need to do is fold it about like that, okay? And then once you're done with that, you don't have to worry about this because our pattern paper is going to cover it. So you won't see any of that. Okay? So the first thing that you're going to do is determine this part here is going to be the bottom of your box. Okay? That would be this part right here and this part inside. Essentially this side. Okay? So you're going to pick the paper that you want to use for that part, and you're going to place it like that. Okay, I am using paper from the Crate Paper Flea Market pad, 6x6 pad. 6x6 papers work really well for this, so that's what we're going to use. And all we're going to do is run our adhesive along the outside edge of this piece here. And we're not even going to worry too much about how even or how anything, because we're going to wrap this around it. And so nothing will really show. Just get that on there really well. And then we're just going to take and fold it over. And this chipboard, or this cardstock, apparently cracks really easy. So be careful if you're using this one. I guess it will just, it's a very aged looking paper. So I guess the cracking will just add to the look of the paper. Okay. Then we're just going to very easily remove the extra corners here to make folding it up a tiny bit easier. Okay, and then we're going to, let me just tone down this thing. It's just a tad too bright. Just give me a minute here. There we go. Sorry about that. My lighting is a little bit off today because we're having thunderstorms outside. So it's messing with my light. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put these sides down first. Push them in there. Square off my corners. And it really cracked, but what can you do, huh? Stupid thing. And then we pull that up, and there we have the start of our project. And well, oh well, I'm just gonna have to be happy with it. Alright, then if you want to cover the inside, now would be the time to do that. If you want to paint the inside, you could do that. I'm just going to leave mine because I'm going to wrap my paper around the front, and so it's not really going to show on the inside. I mean, just the edges will show, but the edges are going to show around the inside, so it'll be just fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I turn it over, so now I'm working on the back side of it, and I'm going to put my adhesive down all along my flap there. I made sure I paid special attention to put it on both sides of that fold so that when I do that part it will be very attached. And then I'm going to apply this right next to my score mark, trying to make sure that I have it even on both sides. And I'm also going to make sure that I don't stick it to the top part. I'm just kind of holding it away from the top part there, because unlike when you're making a book, when you're doing this one, you want to make sure that you do this one in the folded position, because it will just make it easier, because this is going to remain folded, so you don't have to worry about any of it cracking. And since this stuff does crack anyways, we're just gonna keep it from cracking if we can. So there we go. All I did was fold it over, and now I have it attached there and there. Okay, for the next part I'm just going to put that part in, and then I'm going to remove a bit of this and this, just like that, to make it easier to fold in when I'm ready to fold it in. And let's see, yep, it's gonna crack too, but oh well. Some papers crack a little more than others. So I'm gonna run some adhesive there and there and fold that up just like so. Run some adhesive there and there, just like so. Turn it over, and then I'm just pushing my bone folder down on this to help square it out. And then right here I'm going to remove about that much. I just need some of this left to attach. This is how we're going to attach our flap down. Okay? Then we're going to put adhesive there and there and on just like that. And make sure you fold it up really, really tight, and that will help your folds look nice. Alright, so there we have that. And now we're just going to press that down. And so far, that's what we have. Okay? Now let's go on to our next step. The next step is you're going to take some scraps and your extra piece that you cut off of it, and you're going to cut some strips that are about 8.5 inches, or not 8.5, 4 inches, I'm sorry, 4 inches by 1/2 inch. So like this. You're just going to cut a bunch of strips, just like this, and you're going to glue them together so that they make something thick, like this, okay? I'm just going to glue a couple more so I can show you how I did it. I used this quick drying glue. You could use hot glue if you wanted to too. Hot glue will give you a little more space, so you wouldn't need to use as many. For mine, I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think I'm going to put a 7th one on there. Yeah, we're going to put 7 on mine because I want it to be a little bit thicker. This is what stops your whatever you're going to watch on here. This is what stops it from sliding off. So you kind of want it to be thick, and you want it to be sturdy, or you want it to be tall and sturdy. Okay? Might as well just do my last one here. And I use this glue, this quick dry glue, because then once I get the piece on there, I can move it around enough so that I have a little bit of play in it. Okay? Then, the very last step, or not the last step, but the next step is that we want to cover this. So what I'm going to do is put this on here. I want to put my adhesive there, just like that. I'm going to go ahead and put them about there. Okay. And then, just to make it easier on me so I don't have to measure, I'm just going to fold it and wrap it around. And then I'm going to put some adhesive on there and there. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut it about there. I'm not even going to worry too much about measuring it. Okay. Then I'm going to take and cut off, how do I want to do this? Okay, for this part, I'm just kind of guessing on how I want to do it. I'm going to remove this all the way to there. Okay, kind of like that. Same for over here, just to there. Okay, and then that part there, and then that way this part can fold up like that. Okay, and then the last step is to just remove a little bit here. I know this sounds complicated, but once I'm done, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's not nearly as complicated as I am making it sound. Okay, so this is what I'm left with, and what's going to happen here is this part is going to wrap around like so. Okay, I'm also going to make sure that it doesn't hang over and show white. Okay, just like that. Press it in there really good. And then just because I want to make sure that it gets adhered really well, I'm just going to do it with wet glue. Okay, just like that. Alright, and then same thing on the other side. Just put the adhesive on there and whoops, and fold it up. Make sure that none of the white from the paper is gonna show through though. Okay. Alright. So there we have that. Now we're just going to take this and fold it down like so. Okay. And then apply it. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put some adhesive in here too, because I want to make sure that that attaches itself. Or attaches to it and stays attached nicely. And if you're going to cover this, like on mine, I covered it with lace. You don't have to be real careful about how you do it. Just kind of keep your eye on it, you know. Just kind of make it look a little bit nice. And my glue's coming off. Alright. I don't want any of that to show. So now I have that. And I'm just going to slip that on there like that. And I'm just going to put it on there just like that. And it still doesn't want to stick. Okay. Then we'll help it a little bit. I think I'm being too impatient, so I'm just going to put some hot glue inside of there. And now it should seal up nicely. Okay. So now we have this, and actually, to kind of help it all look like it's supposed to have the ratty white edge, I'm going to just kind of sand it up a little bit. There we go. Just like that. Okay. So now we have that attached, and I'm going to attach this with a little bit of hot glue as well. I normally wouldn't attach something like this with hot glue, but I really want to make sure that it sticks down, because this piece has an important job. It holds whatever you're going to display or whatever you're going to use to watch on here. So now I have that on there on the bottom. Now I'm just going to run a bead of hot glue across the top, or onto the actual stopper itself. and glue it down just like that. Okay? And then all we have to do is adhere that piece down. Okay? And we do that with a little bit of score tape. And score tape should hold. If score tape doesn't hold very good for you, then you need to use something that's going to hold really good, because your iPad or your cell phone or whatever you use is going to be resting on this piece. And then you just kind of use your best judgment about how much space you need, and you glue it in there. So there we have that. Now comes the test. Let's test it out and make sure it holds. And it does. Holds quite nicely. And I can see it well enough. And it will work. Good. Okay, so now the next step then is to just go around. What you probably want to cover this piece right here as well. But you could do that with a little bit of, let's see, a little bit of washi tape would do it really well. Like I said, on my husband's, I used washi tape to decorate that thing. And there we go. Now, you can't even tell that it's folded there. Okay? And then you put something on the bottom here, or you don't need to because no one sees it. On this one, you can tell I didn't put anything there, except I did use these bit large gems for feet because I felt like I wanted it a little bit up off the ground. So, let's see, what could I put on this one for feet? Well, here's what I'll do. I'm going to decorate this one, and then you'll see it. So just stay tuned, and I will show it to you.